Hey, so this is the actual book haul. If you don't know what Lone Wolf books are, go and watch the other video first. And if you're a hardcore Lone Wolf fan, you want to stay to the end of the video to see something that most people have never seen. So I'm a regular on the Gamebook AU and NZ Facebook page, and Jeff Lee had a collection of Lone Wolf books that he wanted to sell. The price was good, and I like to buy a run of things in one go so I don't have to track them down individually. So this package arrived. Let's see what's inside. So here they are, 17 books in total. Now I do have some already, so I'm going to bring these over. These are the ones that I already own. I'm going to go through these, then I'm going to slot those into these ones. First of all, I have the first two books in an omnibus, Flight from the Dark and Fire on the Water. That is a Red Fox edition, but I also have, this is what's called the definitive edition of Flight from the Dark. So this is actually slightly different. The text has been improved and there are these extra bits at the end, which aren't in the original. So that's the first two books. Then I also have the Caverns of Colty. I don't know what this is about. They have skis in this world. I haven't read this one. I've only read the first two, by the way. That's book number 3. This is in a Sparrow edition. Sparrow books then became Beaver books. So this is book number 5, Shadow on the Sand. This is book 6, The Kingdoms of Terror. I have no idea what that is supposed to be. Then we have a Red Fox edition of Castle of Death. And book 9, this is back to Beaver books. This is the Cauldron of Fear. And then I have book 12, and again, it's a Beaver books. That is the Masters of Darkness. Then we have a couple of Red Fox, the Plague Lords of Rule. That is book number 13, and book number 16, The Legacy of Vashnar. Then there was a spin-off series called Grey Star the Wizard. Can you get a more 80s sounding kind of fantasy book than Grey Star the Wizard? I mean, really. There were 4 of these. I have book 1 and book 3, Beyond the Nightmare Gate. And then a bunch of novelizations came out. And this is the first 2 books, Eclipse of the Kai and The Dark Door Opens. This is, one book is set before the first game book, and then The Dark Door Opens is based on the first game book. And then I also have book 8 in that series. Again, these aren't game books, they're just novels. So that is book 8 in the Legends of Lone Wolf, the Book of Magnikai. So that's what I've got. And now let's slot in the things that I just got in this book haul. First of all, this is a duplicate. It is The Kingdoms of Terror, but this is a Red Fox edition. There really isn't much difference between these. They're just different printings. Then we have The Jungle of Horrors. This is book number 8. So that slots in nicely there. And then we have, let me just whack this over there. And then we have The Dungeons of Torgar, book number 10. So that slots in nicely there. Book number 11, The Prisoners of Time. Some sort of weird dog thing going on. Then we have another copy of Masters of Darkness, book 12. You can see the difference in the covers, but otherwise internally I think they're pretty much the same. Book number 12. All right, book number 13, that is a true duplicate. So that is one that I will probably be reselling. Then we've got book 14, The Captives of Karg. Make room, make room. Book number 15, The Dark Crusade. Wow, I don't even kind of know what's going on there. All right, and this is another duplicate, The Legacy of Vashnar. So that one I can probably resell. Now we're up to totally new ones that I've never had. So this is book 17, The Death Lord of Ixiar. Book 18, Dawn of the Dragons. Book 19, Wolf's Bane. Okay, book 20, yeah, this is an old library book. That is Toowoomba City Library, nice one. That is The Curse of Nar. And then the last one, number 21, Voyage of the Moonstone. Look at this crazy spider here. You've got a turret on a boat. A turret on a boat? That's some crazy stuff going on. And this is the second in the Grey Star series, The Forbidden City. So that slots in nicely there. And then these 2 last books are again Legends of the Lone Wolf. So these are novels, The Claws of Helgadad, number 5, and book 9, The Tellings. So that goes over here. So that is now my collection of Lone Wolf books. Now for the true fans, I did offer to show you something very interesting. There is one Lone Wolf book that is highly sought after, and it is not really a book. It is the Lone Wolf poster painting book by Gary Chalk. This thing is apparently incredibly rare. I've never seen this on eBay. I've never seen one for sale anywhere. So let me know in the comments what you think it's worth. But it is very cool. It's basically a poster painting book. There's all these posters, which are these massive things. As you can see, if I very delicately kind of do this, that is one big painting there. So you're supposed to take the staples out, I guess, and then if we go to the center here, you can see that is the Battle of Holmgard. So these are all by Gary Chalk, of course. This is a copyright Gary Chalk, 1987. So this is a very cool piece of Lone Wolf, what do you call it? Memorabilia? It's not memorabilia. I don't know. This is a very cool Lone Wolf collectible piece. A cool relic from a bygone era. Right, that's it. So that's everything. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to hear if you have any of these. Drop a comment below. Until next time, happy reading.